What is up, my friends, and welcome to another edition of the XFL Week In Review, one of the longest running XFL podcasts ever. Maybe it's coming to an end, but we'll get into that. And this week, we are unpacking the historic merger of the XFL and USFL and revealing some exclusive details about the cities involved in this potential UFL emergence, plus updates on some XFL stars making their way to NFL rosters. So without further ado, let's dive on into it.
Welcome to the XFL Week In Review with your host, Mark Perry.
All right, let's get into the historic merger that was approved on Monday. The big news coming from this stuff is, first of all, federal authorities have approved the XFL and USFL to merge, set to basically revitalize spring football. That happened on Monday. Some of the developments and the details, like league names, cities, and broadcast schedule, are currently being finalized. The season, however, will kick off on Saturday, March 30th, 2024. You heard that right. So the end of March, this new league, whether it's the XFL, USFL, or UFL, will be kicking off at the end of March. So the merger underwent thorough review under the Scott Hart-Rodino Act, balancing competition and consumer benefits. So for all those people that gave me a hard time because they said the government, I told you that the government was the delay, there you go. I was right. Thank you very much. So in a move that will reshape the landscape, so Sportico was the first to report it, but also our sources at XFL News Hub were saying this too a couple of days ago. Again, we could go with the green light with stuff, but we just kind of wait. But yes, Monday was the day. Mike Mitchell had even posted something 2 days ago, or yesterday, about that the merger was coming and signed, sealed, and approved there. So, of course, the merger was scrutinized under the Hart-Scott-Rodino Act. It had to clear that hurdle, and basically had to do with competition and the market and all that kind of stuff. So once the Justice Department and the FTC reviewed this whole thing, they came to some kind of agreement. Supposedly, they'd gone back a couple times, and then there you have it. And now we've got the league. Interesting aspect of the merger is the blending two employment models. The USFL players are represented by the United Football Players Association and the United Steelworkers. They have a collective bargaining agreement. And on the other hand, the XFL players who voted against unionization, there was rumblings about maybe the NFL union being involved with these players. The XFL and USFL released a joint statement, said, quote, "We are pleased to have completed the antitrust review process in connection with the proposed merger of the XFL and USFL and intend to play a combined season this spring, kicking off on Saturday, March 30th. We are now finalizing terms of the definitive agreement and will share more about this new league in the coming weeks." So there's kind of a hint right there. They didn't say merged league. They are saying new league, which probably means a new name. That's what people are saying there. That's from Ben Fisher, had that. So the combined entity are expected to announce in the coming weeks. It's December. You have December, January, February. So you have 3 months for a new name, schedule, teams. I mean, you already have players and everything else and all the infrastructure basically in place. So there you have it. So coming up with a new website, a new domain, all this kind of stuff. I don't know. So we need to know about the name, who are the specific cities, the broadcast schedule, and we'll all get that in the coming weeks. But we do know that they are merged and they will start on March 30th. Let us know what you think about this. Is finally approved. You've got a start date. Now we just have to fill in all the details. All right, now let's get into some inside scoop of this whole XFL USFL merger, including some cities. So some points to put out there. One is that inside sources are suggesting the merged league will be known as the UFL, starting with 8 teams in 2024. Again, something that has been discussed here on XFL News Hub. Selected cities revealed: Arlington, Houston, the Houston Roughnecks, San Antonio, St. Louis, DC, Birmingham Stallions, Michigan Panthers, and Memphis Showboats are likely to host the new UFL teams. Why? Because they have stadiums, and they have stadium deals and ticket sales. Also, post-merger, XFL CEO Russ Brandon has been tipped to head lead the combined league amidst some different departures, and we'll get into that in a second. So this is our own inside sources, including Mike Mitchell. Ben Fisher had some interesting stuff. So according to Mike Mitchell, there's a growing consensus among insiders from both the USFL and XFL that the new league will be rebranded as the UFL, United Football League. The inaugural season, 2024, is set to feature, of course, 8 teams. With the remaining markets currently involved in the XFL and USFL being put on pause mode. That's a quote, pause mode, something that we've heard and talked about before. This strategic move hints at a focus on ensuring stability and success rather than just kind of going big. But again, that's half the jobs that are left. So this is from Mike Mitchell. He also said about the cities. We talked about Arlington, Houston, with the 3 USFL cities. It's important to note that these details, however, are not finalized yet or officially confirmed, leaving room for further developments. I have heard not 8 teams. I've also still heard not a new name. So I'm throwing it out there. So I think there is a lot to be finalized and officially confirmed, but hold on your horses there. Why do I say no to league name and not being sold on the UFL just yet? Remember, members of the XFL and USFL were on Capitol Hill 2 weeks ago. We talked about that in the last podcast. They were there to secure a sponsorship with the U.S. military and XFL. During that time, there was no mention to these people who they were making a deal with that this was going to be a new league name. They was just said that this would be part of the XFL. So if there was going to be a league name, the thought would be that would have, other people on Capitol Hill would have heard that there was going to be a new league name. But again, everything that I've heard about this meeting had to do with the U.S. military sponsorship of the XFL, something to keep in mind. But again, they could just went there with that and moved on. But remember, also the Fox guy, Eric Shanks, was there too. So if this was going to be a new name and a new league, they could have mentioned that during that process. And that's what I've kind of heard. The Ben Fisher report, of course, is talking about Russ Brandon staying with Mark Ross and Jay Rothman. Basically, their contracts were not renewed. That doesn't mean that they might not come back at a later date. So that's not like they're just cleaning house. So current president of the USFL is Daryl Moose Johnston. He could potentially, we've heard, move to a role of president of football operations in the new league. However, Doug Whaley's there. So who knows how they're going to fix all that kind of stuff. But Russ Brandon stays as CEO. And you remember, Russ Brandon, of course, was in that picture last week that we showed you. It's very important. That is a very important picture because that is basically your leadership of this new league, whether it's under the XFL or the UFL. We'll have to kind of find out there. Mike Mitchell also gave this one out a little bit ago. This was a email from Russ Brandon to league staff. It says, team, you may have seen the stories or social media posts this morning regarding an update on our potential merger with the USFL. We're pleased to have completed the antitrust review process in connection with the proposed merger of the XFL and USFL and are intended to play a combined season this spring, kicking off Saturday, March 30th, a combined season. So they're ready to play together this season. We are now finalizing terms of the definitive agreement, and we'll share more about this new league. Again, new league, which kind of veers it towards a new name in the coming weeks. So there you have it. But again, coming weeks. I mean, what I've heard is that the lawyers are all going over the NFL, the agreement with the approval process, kind of figuring out all that kind of stuff. And so it's still business as usual per se, but now it is officially merged. So there you have it. A big change in the football scene. Also, Danny Garcia posted this. We are pleased to have completed the antitrust review process. This is in her Instagram account. In connection with the proposed merger of the XFL and USFL, intend to play a combined season this spring, kicking off. We are now finalizing the terms of our definitive agreement, and we'll share more about the new league in the coming weeks. Gee, that looks basically the same. So you got that part there. So that's her putting out their stuff. Nothing from the XFL or USFL social media at this point when we recorded this. But things could definitely change. But there you got some inside scoop. So there's still a lot of questions to be answered. Schedule, broadcasting, teams, coaches, and specifically name. However, everybody's kind of on the tip that the United Football League is what it's going to be. I'm still not sold yet. I don't think that that's a great idea. You have brand equity in the XFL. You have brand equity in the USFL. Pick one of those names and go. I think there's a little too emphasis on marketing people about logos and whatever. Logos are not going to get you fannies in the seats. The name of your league is not going to get fannies in your seats. It's the quality of play and fantasy football and DFS. Those are the things that are going to get people interested in, and a good broadcast deal. What you call your league really means nothing, but they love to spend thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to come up with brand names. And so there you have it. That's my point. I just think that would be dumb. Just pick a name and go with it, my friends. Because then you're just going to have, there's just all this iteration. You have to buy domain names. You have to make sure you can secure all the social media stuff. There's all sorts of stuff that goes along with changing a name, and you're going to kick off at the end of March, which means backtrack it up. You really need to start getting your teams together by January, which means we need to know in December what the teams are. And you got to start the schedule. That's 60 days out probably for that. You know what I mean? So you're going to still, and then you got merchandise. You want to have the XFL or USFL logo on something new, like you have merch. So there's all sorts of complicating just to change the name. But this is that, United Football League. And we've heard that was just to secure the patent, the trademark, and that it wasn't going to be used, but we'll have to find out about that. So anyway, my friends, let us know what you think about this little inside scoop. And the teams, are you okay with 8 teams? A lot of fans are a little upset about just 8 teams. Let us know in the comments.
Hey, Battlehawk fans, obviously you heard the news. Really excited on the call with Jason, who's heading the tickets for the XFL. But we have opened the 400 level. You have asked for it, and we have responded. And that hashtag fill the top, Jason, has never been more than it ever has than now.
No, Coach, we're super excited, and you're right. We opened up the 400 level, and we've heard you and the fans, the players, everybody in St. Louis that want to be up in that area. There's a lot of great things happening up there. We started to dabble up in the space, and we know we've got fans that want to buy it for the full season, so we're going ahead and doing that. And we're super excited on how things have started, and I think it's going to be a great thing for us that we've got the seats open this year.
So many fans over last year where our crowds were tremendous. I hate to say or bring it up, but leading the way throughout all the XFL and the teams. But the attendance records that we broke, 5 straight attendance records for spring football, was incredible. And I'm really, truly thankful for all those fans. But to see more fans in that 400 level, so many have told me that they remember coming to Rams games, seeing great players like Ricky Prohl catch touchdowns, Leroy Glover. I remember fans in that 400 level. It was special to a lot of people. They like it. They get that bird's eye view. But just adding that now, this early, leading into 2024, has really got me excited and really got to be awesome for the fans for the opportunity.
Yeah, we're super excited. I mean, St. Louis has just been a tremendous market for the XFL and spring football in general. And we've got some other things lined up for 2024 too. We opened up an area called the Battlehawk Bridge, and that was met with great responses. We sold out of the Lowe's boxes right away. We've got a limited amount of club seats available. That's more of a bit of a premium product that's got some inclusive food, nice lounges, really impressive up there. But yeah, this 400 level thing is going to be special. And it's, when you get up there and you start selling season tickets, it makes the rest of the product lines easier to sell. We'll sell groups up there. We'll sell single games. And before you know it, knock on wood, I think we'll have a pretty good chance of selling out, if not all, a few of the games this year, which is just going to be tremendous for you and the guys down on the field, creating that home field advantage for St. Louis.
Yeah, no question. And again, thankful for all the Battlehawks, the fans, everyone that came to the games last year. But let's make 24 even bigger and better than ever. And I always stand by my promise, Jason. I always tell the fans, and I told them this last year, and maybe they weren't too sure and didn't believe me, but I definitely lived up to it. If they come and they show up to the game, I promise them I'll give them a championship product to watch every single week. And, for me, my goal, my staff, my players, is to win the championship this year. That's our number one goal. And to do it in front of the fans and even have any more fans for the 2024 season in that 400 level is going to be outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to cheer about in St. Louis. I mean, you're certainly a big reason. Obviously, A.J. and all the guys on the team were just tremendous. And, I was, as someone that's worked in professional sports my entire career, I'm really proud of what we were able to accomplish there in St. Louis. And I really do think that the sky is the limit for us there. And I think, there's a great opportunity for fans to get in at an even, lower cost than some of our lower level tickets. The tickets start at like $18 per game. And the ticket information's all there. It's very easy to do. The folks in St. Louis are very good at getting to xfl.com/tickets. And we'll get you all squared away. It's going to be a great year to be associated with the Battlehawks again, and I'm confident in you and the team that it'll be a very memorable season, much like it was last year.
Yeah, put the pressure on me. I love that, Jason. Hey, listen, you heard Jason. Go to xfl.com/tickets. You get an opportunity to get great value, great seats. Really, all the seats are a great value. So wherever you choose to sit is going to be awesome this year. But the 400 level, the season tickets are available. They are selling. It's very busy, and I love seeing the numbers that I'm hearing early. Jason, you guys and your staff have done a great job. And don't forget, folks, hashtag fill the top. Let's start it early. Let's bring the noise. Can't wait till 2024.
Are you a fan of the XFL, USFL, and CFL football? Get ready to embrace your inner general manager with NewsHubFantasy.com's fantasy football experience. NewsHubFantasy.com offers you an unparalleled fantasy football platform bringing together fans of the XFL, USFL, and CFL football leagues. Compete in season-long fantasy with leagues up to 6 players. You can create your own for friends, or you can join an existing league. Draft your ideal team with our 7 active roster spots, including a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, flex, tight end, kicker, plus 3 bench spots. Show off your football knowledge and strategy and dominate your league. Our user-friendly interface makes it easy to manage with your team and get the latest news in your XFL or USFL or CFL leagues on the go. Plus, News Hub Fantasy offers mock drafts, pick'em games, and so much more all season long. So don't miss out on the action. Sign up now at newshubfantasy.com and become the ultimate football fantasy manager. All right, we are back. Exciting stuff coming from the St. Louis Battlehawks, selling tickets, as well as now there's a section, Lone Star section or something at the San Antonio Brahmas. Clearly, those teams will be part of this new league. So definitely get your tickets now for all that good stuff. Some quick notes. Quick hitting, Patriots add Vipers wide receiver Mathew Sexton to their practice squad. That is very cool there. Congratulations to him. Of course, we all know about A.J. McCarron, and DC Defenders Chris Blair also made it to NFL rosters. Of course, A.J. McCarron is now the backup for the Cincinnati Bengals, and Chris Blair has been promoted to the Atlanta Falcons roster as well. So congratulations to them. And finally, Jeff Shell is in advanced negotiations with the RedBird Capital and could have an impact on the XFL. So Jeff Shell is the former NBC Universal CEO, and he's in talks with joining the RedBird Capital Partners. Extensive media experience that could help the XFL. His role at RedBird will accompany broader sports and entertainment strategies. So therefore, he would kind of be touching this whatever new league, XFL, UFL, USFL, whatever they want to call it. So it's just something to kind of keep in mind out there. We've got full articles on XFL News Hub. And finally, remember, you can email us, podcast@XFL News Hub, with your thoughts. We have some of your comments as well about when do you think the merged XFL and USFL should start their season. We talk about the results right now. Everybody, 41.2% said February, 37.7% said in March, and then 21.1% said in April. 621 people voted. There's still time left. It's pinned up on our Twitter if you want to join the conversation there. As far as on the Facebook and Instagram, when do you think the merged league should start? Ricky says April, hopefully with the season lasts until the end of July, and then we're back to the NFL preseason. I actually was kind of leaning more towards the April, but March, end of March is good. It's kind of towards the end of March Madness, freeing up some time. February's cold. So really, I mean, you're getting into March and April. The weather is going to be a lot nicer out. So I'm good with the end of March. You know, the league will kind of kick off. I mean, the problem is that you have that big burst in the beginning and then things kind of tail off. You got March Madness going on. However, if you're on broadcast television and not buried and having games on in the West Coast at 10 o'clock at night, that should help too. So, and having Fox and board and everybody together could be a good thing. Dira says March. Heather says February. Steve says, I don't care when spring fall starts as long as it starts. The fact that there's no schedule, no idea where the Vipers are playing since it's not announced that we're not going back to Cashman. No idea what the merger stands. You get the idea there. Gary says, count me in with the people who think it's not going to happen in 2024. Well, we know it is happening. Chris says February. Michael says February. Late February. Charles, never. I like football year round. Daniel is March. This guy says after the Super Bowl. He says the merger. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. So there you got it. There on Instagram. Who do we got? Let's see here. The Gridiron Crew says after the NFL draft, let the rookies play. That's interesting. Dual Rule Life says in March. District Defender, our guy, can't wait to hang out with him again. He says, I like the week after the Super Bowl. Selfishly frees up my summer schedule. However, it might be better for the league's success to give the masses some time to miss football. I feel there's too many variables in the data to truly know what leads to more success. All the spring leagues have been so different and popular for many different reasons. Therefore, I vote February. There you go. Can't wait to hang with District Defender and all of our DC Defenders crew, as our team has been named as part of doing it in this new league, clearly. Wolfie Pie says February or March. And Birmingham's Nation, March, gives everyone time away from football instead of starting a week after the Super Bowl. That's what I think is also kind of nice. I was kind of burnt out by the time the NFL season was over. I get the idea, moving it and maybe to after March Madness, because March Madness is a long block of time that you're not getting any people paying attention to your product. So we'll see how that transpires. Plus, but then you don't want to do the USFL thing because you don't want to go too late into, July 4th for your game. So there you have that. Steven checks in. Remember, you can email us podcast@XFL News Hub. Thanks for keeping us up to date with all that's happening. What do you make of the rumor of the 8-team merged league being announced on December 15th? It was the 30th. 8 teams, United Football League. Again, that's what's out there. He talks about DC Defenders, Brahmas, Guardians, Battlehawks. Again, but the Guardians and Vipers and Seattle Sea Dragons look like it has not. But remember, even Mike Mitchell said this is a fluid situation, so hold your horses. He said the surviving USFL teams, Stallions, Showboats, Canton Stars, which we know no, but it would be a shame. Maybe the XFL can either play or whatever this league is called, play their championship game in Canton, or maybe even play your game in St. Louis, and then the Michigan Panthers. And all teams will play a 10-game schedule starting in late February. This is not true because it's about in March, end of March. And again, no hubs. So what I've kind of been hearing too is that basically everybody's coming to down into Arlington. The XFL has the facilities, has everything there. Why would you? It just makes a lot more sense to have everything in one central location, and then they'll fly out to all their markets for the games. But again, this is what we know now. Again, news is changing rapidly, so stay tuned to XFL News Hub to make sure you get all those things as well. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel, and if the name changes, we'll just go with the flow, my friends, because there's nothing I can do about it. So again, I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for, remember, make sure you're subscribed to all of our social media channels to make sure you stay up to date on this new league. And that's it for me, folks. As always, God bless, and I will see you all later.